Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. We are well into January 2020 now, and we're following along in Sarah Ban Breathnach's book, Simple Abundance. This is her 2019 new edition, rewritten, and I hope you're enjoying it so far. I have posted a few videos, and I have to say, I know initially in my intro video that I said none of the videos were going to be all that long, and then what happens? I just get talking and excited, and next thing you know, it's like a 30-minute video. So skip ahead, don't watch the long ones if it's too much, or I hope you're enjoying them. Maybe you like the longer ones. I can talk, that's for sure. So I'm really excited because it's January 13th and we are starting to get into the actual principles that this whole channel is devoted to. So Sarah's principles from Simple Abundance are joy, harmony, simplicity, beauty, order, and gratitude. And gratitude is the one that's being introduced. So over the next couple days, she's going to be talking about gratitude itself and setting up the practice of having a gratitude practice of some kind. I'm going to share with you what I have adopted as my practice, and it's evolved over the past couple of years, because the first year I tried it, I bit off way more than I realized that I could chew, and it started to become this thing that I was sort of dreading. And if I missed the day, then it was like I had to go back and do like 3 days at a time. And so I'm being more realistic. I found a new gratitude journal. This is from Hallmark. You can see it, hopefully it's got the days along the edge there, and there's just 4 lines. And in Sarah's book, she talks about trying to come up with 5 things at the end of the day or at the beginning of the day, whichever you prefer, that you feel grateful for. And she even says this in the book too. When you first start this, it can be easy or it can be hard, but there are the smallest things to be grateful for, even just that you woke up. If you're struggling, if you're in a dark place and you're coming out of that, then be gentle with yourself. And this is not like an affirmation sort of thing where you're being grateful for something that hasn't happened yet. These are physical, tangible things that really are real that you feel grateful for. And one time a life coach was talking about having a gratitude activity, and she said that as you were doing these things, also if you can somehow bring up that feeling in yourself, like remembering like something that was like amazing that happened during the day, and sort of like reliving that in your mind. And I think she even recommended like writing about that, and you could go so far as to do that. Like anything that's going to put you in this state of mind, what do they say, the attitude of gratitude, it's just going to build that momentum, and you might get to the point where 5 lines is not enough. And that first year that I mentioned, I had this giant journal where it was like every day I just listed out and just kept writing until I couldn't think of anything else. And like I said, it was great, and I think it definitely added to that year. But I have to say, by the end of the year, I was like, I am not putting all that pressure on myself to just write. So coming up with the few lines, I keep this journal right on my bedside table with a pen. And it only should take just maybe a couple of minutes at the most. But it's getting in the practice of, it shouldn't seem like it takes effort, but if you have highs and lows, and I definitely am someone that like I can just get in a real low period of time, like then I have to force myself in a sense to do it. But once you get going with it, then I mentioned momentum a few times. It's like it gets that momentum going. It becomes easier. It doesn't become something that you're dreading. And I hope you're not dreading it. But I have to tell you, I've been there, so I get it. I also want to say too, so there's a couple of things. The other thing I like about this particular journal that I mentioned, it says gratitude on the front. This actually has some questions in there too that you might do. I don't do that, but I use the extra pages in between the weekly pages for doing a couple of other things. So I came up a few years ago with this activity based on, if you've heard of the author Brene Brown, she's written a bunch of best-selling books. She's also known for her amazing TED Talk. She is a researcher on shame, and she's written some amazing books. One in particular, The Gifts of Imperfection. These are just really inspiring books. And in one of her audiobooks, and again, I feel bad when I cite these things and I don't know the exact source, but I do know that it was Brene Brown. One of her audiobooks that I was listening to, she had an exercise that she calls TGIF. And I believe she even actually does this on her website on a weekly basis. So on Friday, obviously, we kind of know what TGIF stands for normally. She does this, and I have sort of tweaked it a little bit, but I do want to cite that her original idea is what I'm basing this on. So it's not a really lengthy thing to do, but every letter stands for something. So T stands for trusting. So I will write down, this is again on a Friday, I will write down, this week I have been trusting. So it might be like, this week I have been trusting that I would have enough time to finish all the things I needed to do, or something like that. And the G is for grateful. So we're talking about gratitude here. So I would say something like, this week I am most grateful for. So I have all this list of all these things that I was grateful for during the week. And so maybe I pick one of those things, or maybe it's just an overall feeling, or just something that really stood out that I'm thinking sort of captures the feeling of the week. And then the I is for inspire. So this, I'll usually say, this week I was inspired to, like, so maybe I was inspired to do something, or this week I was inspired by, like, there might be like a show or something that I encountered in amongst friends or something that just really inspired me, or I felt inspired to do something, like maybe I painted a picture or did a puzzle or something that like really I just felt like it lifted me and affected me positively. So the I is for inspire, and then TGI, and then F. So Brene is a Christian, and she's very faith-based, and while I am spiritual, I don't consider myself religious. I don't follow a specific religion. So her F is for faith. So when she's talking about, well, this is what I did this week to foster my faith. And for me, because of the workaholic that I am, the F felt more appropriate for my life to be for fun. So again, it's not like, I hate to say like I have to force myself to have fun. I don't, but I do need to sometimes like have a check and balance sort of thing on my life to make sure, hey, did I have fun? And I have a standing weekly fun thing that I always do on Wednesday nights. So I always know that I at least have that fun, but I'm always hoping that I do have more than just the one night a week of fun. So it doesn't have to be one thing for each of those TGIF things. It could be multiple things. You could be trusting multiple things. You could have multiple things that you're grateful for. You can phrase it however you want if you like that idea. But so that's my TGIF thing. And then another thing from another book, Debbie Ford's book. A few years ago, I read this right before, I think it was the end of 2017. I read her book. It's called The Best Year of Your Life. And so she has some ideas about making the year coming up the best year of your life. And one thing that she mentioned that I really liked, and I still do it, is what is an unforgettable day? So an unforgettable day doesn't necessarily mean like you went and you bungee jumped and maybe you did those things, but that would be unforgettable. But she talked more about unforgettable days being days that you will just never forget, as far as maybe you're with your whole family and something amazing happened, or there was a new family member born, or it's a really positive, just amazing, life-changing, but in a small way, sort of just something that you really treasure. It's a just unforgettable day. So I try to make sure that I give a nod at least once a month to whatever I consider to be an unforgettable day. And it's not difficult when you really think about it. Once you start to really take stock in these things, you may have more than one unforgettable day. We would hope that our life is made up of a lot of unforgettable days, right? But I do write in sort of a journal style a memory of what that day was. I've actually thought recently about, because sometimes I'll have a picture from that day, and I've thought like I could even come up with some sort of creative project or make a scrapbook or something of all my unforgettable days. Because if you ever need like a pick-me-up, or you need to think back, or just thinking back on those days can just make you feel good whether you need a pick-me-up or not. But it's a fun way to go back and relive those through your own words of describing what your unforgettable day was. So I hope so far that, I know we're only really about 2 weeks into the year so far, but I hope that you will have many unforgettable days during this year to come, and that maybe you've even already had a couple so far. And I am glad you're here with me on this journey, and we're going to be getting into more of the principles coming up. This is just the very first one that she's exploring with us. And I'd love to hear what you guys do for your gratitude journal or exercise. It could be even just in your mind. If you're not a journal person, or the thought of writing it down is too overwhelming, even just going to bed at night and just, maybe you pray, maybe you even just think about the good things in your life. It's important to give a nod to those things, because it will just keep bringing more things in your life for you to be grateful for. It's true. It's true. Give it a shot. You might be skeptical, but I have to say, I can tell when I sort of fall off the wagon with my gratitude journal, then things start to get a little chaotic. So it's something that I've tried to do as simply as I can by breaking it down into just like a small little list. And then I always make sure, even if I skip a couple days during the week, I always try to make sure that I get that TGIF activity in. And then the Unforgettable Days thing is in addition to that. And I hope you like it. Let me know what you think, if you're going to try to do it, or if you have any other ideas that we can all add to our gratitude practice. I'd love to hear from you. Thanks so much for liking and subscribing. Share the channel. Bring on some friends. This is a great little fun community, and we're going to have a great 2020. All right. Love you guys. Bye.